Welcome back. Well, South Africa has had to cull about 7.5 million chickens in an effort to contain dozens of outbreaks of two separate strains of the avian influenza. And this has resulted in the scarcity and price increases in poultry products, which are some of the go-to staple and a most affordable source of protein. But with the avian flu pandemic, not only will these products now be limited, they will also be a bit pricey for low-income households in an already overburdened consumer market. Let's bring in Consumer Economist Zandile Makhoba to chat to us about this. Zandile, a very good morning to you. Not me doing my grocery the other day at my retailer, only to notice and to be told that there's no eggs due to the fact that there's avian flu. Not great for consumers who solely rely on these still largely affordable and necessary staples.
Absolutely. So we know that this is a big source of protein for many families because it is one of the affordable options. So, just the combination of an increased price and a shortage in stores is definitely going to be something hard hitting for many households. At a price increase, this might mean that this is not an option for many households, and they will turn to other sources of sustenance in terms of beans maybe, and some vegetarian options that are a little bit less pricey, but it's definitely not an easy space for many households to be in.
And looking at the current economic crisis, Zandile, in our country, exorbitantly high prices for even the most basic yet essential products. What are then the long-term ripple effects brought on by these latest developments in poultry products?
So we're seeing about a 20 to 30% shortage in overall supply. So the most basic effect is that we're going to see a little bit of higher inflation in terms of our food inflation, which has already been quite high over a period of time. The difference will be in terms of how quickly we recover from this and get back to normal levels of supply or find substitutes for chicken supply. One option is to possibly have more chicken products imported from various parts of the world. But that will also be impacted by our exchange rate, which will mean even if we are able to add to supply, it's going to be added at a higher price.
And I know, Zandile, you've just mentioned that, of course, some of the alternatives would be your beans and cheaper products. But is there any way then for consumers to look for alternatives without compromising on their health as well as safety?
So we're looking here at protein substitutes. The most easiest option would be things like fish, if that is an option for households, and that's available both in processed and non-processed forms. Pork might be an alternative. And, with the price of chicken a little bit higher, you're now seeing that other products that are in the protein basket are not that far out of reach. So if your price for chicken is almost the same as a packet of beef or other types of meat, it might be easier to make those changes at the household level. But if the price tag is a little bit too high, then other substitutes that are in maybe more the processed foods, in vegan alternatives, might actually fit that spot for households.
And long-term, Zandile, your advice as to how then as consumers we can create or move towards a culture or practice of sustainable measures irrespective of any other product shortages that we may be faced with, maybe like organic farming and so forth?
I think we do underestimate sometimes how much protein is available in vegetarian substitutes. So if people are growing their own vegetables at home or providing more vegetable in their meals than they usually do, it's actually a good source of nutrients and supplements. So definitely a worthwhile option. Beans and lentils are, seen in different lights. It's not always a preferred option. People might choose chicken over beans, but you're actually getting the same amount of nutrient in terms of protein. So those are some of the choices and alternatives that people can make if they want to prolong it in the future.
And moving away from poultry, Zandile, in closing, at midnight, we all know that that price fuel increase, of course, came into effect. Where and how can South African consumers then find reprieve if everything is just going to be unattainable and unaffordable? What are we going to do?
Where you're right is that we are seeing this increase in the most essential goods in our goods basket. So transport is something we can't live without. Food and protein is something we can't live without. But what we'd encourage households to really do is start to look at things that are non-essential and see if that's where you can start to make some cuts. The other thing is to really leverage off some of the, these benefits that we get from rewards programs. So whether you're getting discounts at your local retailer or with the bank you're using, you're getting points, leveraging that really does make a difference for just those month-on-month expenditures. So that's definitely pockets where people can look at to make some savings and at least supplement their spending on those essential elements.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Zandile Makhoba there.